We're going to be learning some things about holding meridian endpoints. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with meridian tracing, and that's totally awesome. I love that, but there's even a little variation that's a little quicker and easier than standing up and doing all that. Okay, the meridians are the energy pathways located throughout the body through which the vital chi flows. This is the life force. And there are many points all along an acupuncture meridian line. I kind of liken it unto a string of Christmas lights. We've got, like, say, maybe a yellow string is connected to a white string. White is maybe connected to blue, blue to green, green to red. So we've got all these strings of Christmas lights connected, and they're all the bulbs along the way. The bulbs would be where the acupuncture doctor would needle. Those are the acupuncture points, and those are highly electrical. But also they've discovered that the endpoints are also highly charged too. And you can get a lot of bang for your buck just by working with those endpoints. There's a total of 20 meridians, and we're going to be working with 14 major meridians today in this little technique that I'm going to show you. And all those meridians are related to an organ, a system, a function, emotions, and even more. Okay, so when there's an imbalance, so we want all those bulbs to be lit up. We don't want to have any bulbs burnt out or blinking or a short or anything. We want full lights lit up and no interruption in the flow. But when there is a bulb that's burnt out or there's an interruption from one meridian to the next, it will present many different health challenges. Okay, so the benefits of holding the endpoints of the meridians are energize the body, increase circulation, support the immune system, relieve pain, calm down the emotions, promote a deep sense of relaxation. Who doesn't need that, right? Yeah. Well, unlike meridian tracing, where you usually do that with the client standing, or we do it on ourselves while we're standing because the bladder meridian goes over the head and down the back. If your client's laying down, you're going to have to flip them on one side to do one side of the meridian, and then you'll have to flip them over. It's a little cumbersome, but this technique can be performed completely relaxed, just sitting in a chair. Okay, and that's what we're going to do tonight. Okay, so here I've got a diagram of the Chinese 5 elements. Now this is, some of you guys are familiar with it, and maybe for some of you it's new. So all the different organs in the body are all divided into these kind of subcategories. Example, we've got the fire element at the top, and that represents the small intestine and the heart and something called triple warmer and pericardium. Now, I've heard that the triple warmer, I was taught this, triple warmer is a reflection of small intestine, and pericardium is a reflection of heart, but they're all in harmony and they work together, and yet they have separate functions too. So so that's under the fire. And when you're dealing with fire, some of the overarching emotions are joy, love, hate, and there's even a sound that goes with it, and it's laughter. And if you're struggling with perseverance or needing to find your passion, you might look to the fire element and find some imbalances that are going on there. If those are your struggles, if you're feeling, lack of perseverance, passion, or struggling with joy, love, hate, that's where you would probably want to look first. Okay. And then we've got the earth over on the right side, which is usually yellow, and that encompasses stomach and spleen. And the emotions are nurture and support. And it's about empathy and sympathy, and the sound is singing. Okay. And then the one at the bottom on the right, we're going to look at the metal element. And the metal element is comprised of lung and large intestine. The overarching emotions are grief, guilt, and regret. And if you're struggling, and the sound is, and also crying, and the sound is deep sighing. And if you're wanting to look, if you're needing discernment and you're needing some discretion, you might want to look to the large intestine or the lung and kind of see if there's some imbalances going on there. If you're grieving, a lot of times people who are going through grief have a lot of lung issues, a lot of coughs, colds, asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia. That is very common for those things to manifest when a person is going through a lot of deep grief. So you'll usually find some imbalances there. And then the water element, we're talking kidney and bladder. And fear, anxiety, and the sound is groaning. Ugh. And that is kind of similar to grief and just the loss. It's just a very deep emotion. And if you're lacking courage or confidence, you probably will find some imbalances in the kidney or the bladder. Okay. Wood is the green, and that is liver and gallbladder. And here we're talking anger, we're talking resentment, and the sound is shouting. Okay. You know, a lot of times people start yelling and shouting when they get really angry and irate, and they're facing some challenges and choices. If this is where you're at, needing to make some choices and challenges, if you do some kinesiology testing, you'll probably find some imbalances in gallbladder or liver. It's very likely. Okay, so on the inside, I want you to see that there's a little shaded area, all these inside organs, the heart, the pericardium, the spleen, lung, kidney, liver, those are considered yin, and they are in. Okay, that's how you can remember. Those are the yin organs. The yin organs never stop working. They constantly work, like the heart, the pericardium, the spleen, the lung, the kidney, the liver. They're constantly working. This is opposed to the ones on the outside, which are considered the yang or yang. Those organs on the outside rest and work, empty and fill. So they're just the opposite of the inside ones. And we need the male and we need the female. And it's very interesting how Chinese medicine has this very complex, intricate way that they have identified the body and how to work with it. And I had a desire at one point. I was thinking about becoming an acupuncturist, but I had kids. One kid was coming after another, and I just put my family first. But I've always loved the Chinese medicine model and so fascinated with that. So what we're going to be doing over here now is we're going to be holding one of the organs on the outside, and we're going to pair it with one of the organs on the inside. We're going to hold either the beginning or the end points, and it really doesn't matter as long as we've just got a beginning and end of stomach, one of those, and then paired with a beginning or an end of spleen. And I have chosen the two that seem easiest to hold together. So you just will follow me. And we're going to be taking a few nice deep breaths when we do this. And I just want you to know, like when you're at home doing this alone, because I will send these this technique to those of you. I think most of you would probably want a copy of it, because then you'll be able to do it on your own at home, unless you're taking copious notes and you know something about it. But I'm more than happy to send it to those who ask. So we're going to be taking some nice deep breaths. Oh, and usually when you've held long enough, you'll get a sigh or a yawn. You might get those signs, you might not. It doesn't mean that it's not working. Some people are just like, oh, wow, they sigh or yawn. They're just like super, you know, their body really manifests those things. Doesn't mean it's not working if you don't get that. But when you're at home doing it on your own time frame, and there's, you know, not the pressure of this, you know, presentation and trying to, you know, do all this technology stuff, you'll just be able to relax. And just, I would encourage you to take as much time as you need and just see if you have that It finally comes up for you. So I'm going to just do this at my pace tonight. And, we have to get through it. And you may be done, you might get a sigh or yawn and you might not. So, but anyhow, you can do it at your own leisure on your own time. And I'm going to be reading some affirmations. Now, each of these different organs, there's a few emotions listed here, but each organ individually has a whole list of negative aspects and then positive aspects. And sometimes you'll see affirmations. So I've just given a little phrase for each of I've just picked like one random phrase that, stood out to me for each of these. So I'm going to be reading that. So the first one is we're going to be holding the endpoints of central and governing. And we're holding both of the end points. The beginning point for central begins on the perineum, and it comes straight up the midline, and it ends right below your bottom lip here. And the central meridian represents your brain, and it also has to do with vision, physical vision, and a feeling of success. So the affirmation is, I am successful. And then the top one, the governing, that begins at the tailbone area, comes straight up the middle of the back, right on the spine, comes over the head, and ends right above the top lip. And that represents hearing and your spinal cord. Think about your spine, you guys, all those nerve innervations that go off to all the organs. So these two meridians here are these are the storage batteries for all the organs in the body. This is, the brain and the spinal cord. Boom. If you couldn't do any other work, you didn't have time, and you were just going to pick 2 points to hold, I'd say pick these two, because it will switch on your brain and your spinal cord. It's a really good mini little balance. Okay. So let's go ahead and just place one finger above and one below. You can use your thumb and your forefinger if you want to use 2 fingers and a thumb, whatever's comfortable. You could do toothbrush. So hold those and just try to relax in your chair. Okay. Just try to relax in your chair and just take some nice breaths and say, I am supported. I am supported. I am supported. I am successful. I am successful. You can close your eyes and just kind of relax into it. And maybe whatever comes to your mind, maybe there's a situation that you're struggling with at work or a relationship that comes to your mind. And as that just comes to your mind, just be like, okay, yeah, that, you know what? I am successful. I'm supported in this situation. I support myself. I know where to go for support. I can find supportive people. Okay. And we can move on. All right, the next one is gallbladder and liver. So the gallbladder, we're going to be working with the beginning point, and that's right at the edges of the eyes, the corners of the eyes. And that goes up over the head, on the sides of the head, down the sides of the body, and it ends at the 4th toe. And gallbladder, yeah. And the affirmation is, I am wise and I make good decisions. That is going to be paired with the liver meridian, and we're going to be holding the end point of that. So we've got the beginning of the gallbladder, and then we're going to use the end of the liver. And that's just, I'm going to have you guys lay your arm right across your chest, right underneath your breast, and you'll be covering both points. Most of the meridians are bilateral. They run down both sides of your body. Only the first 2 that we just did, the central and the governing, were the midline meridians that ran up the front and over the back and ended here. Those are the only 2 that are midline only. All the other ones are bilateral. Okay. So here we go. The liver begins on the big toe and it comes up the inside of the legs. So it starts at the big toe, the liver, and it comes up the inside of the legs and it ends right at the midsection there. And the affirmation is, I am willing to change to set myself and others free. Okay, that's a good one. So anyhow, we'll take one hand and just stretch it across your face here to cover both of those eye points, and take your other hand across your tummy. Okay, so here we go. I am wise and I make good decisions. I am wise and I make good decisions. I am willing to change to set myself and others free. I'm willing to change to set myself and others free. I am wise and I make good decisions. I'm willing to change to set myself and others free. Okay. Bladder and kidney. So the bladder starts at the inside of the eyes, the inner canthus of the eyes, and it goes up over the head, all the way down the spine bilaterally, and it ends at the fifth toe. So you just go all the way down the back of your legs, out the sides of your feet, and bam, end at your little pig toes, your little pinkies. Okay, and then the kidney starts in the ball of the feet, and it comes up through the ankle bone, and it comes up the inner part of the legs, and it ends right up here at the clavicle. So find your sternal notch, go down about 1 inch, and then out maybe 1.5 inches to 2. Your hands will almost just fall right into a little divot. There's almost a little indentation that's just created for your hands. Okay, so put one hand there, and the affirmation for the kidney meridian is, I am reliable and I follow through with ease. And for bladder, the affirmation is, I give others the space they need. So let's go ahead and put our hands there too. I give others the space they need. Wow, that was the easy shift. I'm reliable and I follow through with ease. I am reliable and I follow through with ease. Mm. Mm. Okay, next. Large intestine and lung. So the large intestine meridian begins at the index finger, and it comes up the top side of the arm, and it comes through the corner of the mouth, and it ends right at the nostril. We're going to be holding both nostrils. That's the large intestine, and it's about letting go. So the affirmation is, I joyfully release all I no longer need to create space for new experiences. And think about what we do in the morning, usually our morning constitution. Physically, we are letting go, okay? Emotionally, we're letting go. People who struggle, I always find it interesting, people who die of different cancers or things, I like to kind of hear like what kind of cancer was it? And then sometimes, if I know the person, or I say, what was your father like? Was he, they start to describe, oh, he was crabby. He was just, he was a hoarder. He saved everything. He was very, it's always just interesting to make the correlations with some of the emotions. Sometimes they really match spot on. And sometimes it's like, well, I don't know. But anyhow, that's the large intestine. And then we're going to pair that with the lung. And I say lung to thumb. So it starts in the upper shoulder area and comes down the arm and ends here at the thumb. And the affirmation for that one is, a lot of times lung is about worth. And so the affirmation is, in humility, I recognize my value and worth. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, we're going to lay our middle finger on top of our thumb nails. Okay. Covering the lung point. And then I'm going to have you take your index finger and just place them right at the side of the nostrils here. Okay. I joyfully release all I no longer need to create space for new experiences. I joyfully release all I no longer need to create space for new experiences. In humility, I recognize my value and worth. In humility, I recognize my value and worth. Got 3 more to go. Spleen and stomach. So right below our eyes is the beginning of the stomach meridian. It comes down and it goes around like this. And with open hands, I just usually take my hands all the way, sweep them down the front of my body, and I end at the second toe. That's stomach. Stomach is usually about anxiety, overwhelm, stress. So the affirmation is, all my needs are satisfied. And it's also about a lot of times people who suffer with like a deprivation mentality, that a scarcity and not having enough. So a lot of times this is a good affirmation. All my needs are satisfied. I am content and blessed. And then we're going to pair that with the spleen, which starts on the big toes and it comes all the way up the body and it comes to the armpits and then it goes back down and it pretty much ends at your bra line. So it's like a check mark. Okay. So we're pairing the beginning of the stomach with the end of the spleen meridian. Okay. I relax and do my best. And then sometimes I even add with that, and my best is good enough. So that's the affirmation for spleen. So once again, I'll have you just set your hands here across your face, and I'm going to have you just take one arm or the other. And you don't have to do both sides. So choose whatever is more comfortable for you, but just take your arm and just hold that side so that you're touching at least one spleen meridian on one side. And then put your hands across your face and we'll say, all my needs are satisfied. Well, all my needs are satisfied. All my needs are satisfied. I am content and blessed. I am content and blessed. I feel it, you guys. I'm really feeling the gratitude right now. And I'm feeling that all my needs are satisfied. Okay, I relax and do my best. I relax and do my best. And my best is good enough. I relax and do my best. And my best is good enough. If you wanted to switch hands and do both sides, you could, but it's not necessary. Okay. Okay. All right. 2 more, you guys. Triple warmer and pericardium. So the triple warmer starts on the ring finger and it comes up the top side of the arm and it comes up the neck and goes around the ear and it ends at the eyebrow. Triple warmer, it stands for thyroid, thymus, and adrenal glands. When you're feeling really racy and and rushing and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, this would be a good meridian to hold these 2 points, okay? So the affirmation is, I trust everything will work out all right. You know, you're running late. I've done this one when I've been driving somewhere. Running late, and you know, it's like you're hitting every single red light and the train is coming. There's this technique that I've done where I just trace the triple warmer meridian backwards. So I touch it here and I just go down my arm a few times, because tracing the meridian backwards is a way to calm it down if there's excess energy and it's too much. So that is also just one technique that you can do to calm yourself down, and then finish with one in the proper direction. So, but today we're gonna pair that with the pericardium, and the pericardium starts at the side wall of the breast and comes down and ends at the comes all the way down your arm and ends at your middle finger, at the fingernail. And the affirmation is, I forgive all who have wronged me, and I take responsibility for my own growth. Okay. So we're going to do those two by, we're going to take, place the sides of our middle fingers. We're going to take our middle fingers, and I'm just going to have you use the fingernail portion and just hold those right at the edges of your eyebrows. Okay. I trust everything will work out all right. Okay. I trust everything will work out all right. I trust everything will work out all right. I forgive all those who have wronged me, and I take responsibility for my own growth. Whew. Okay, there we go for me. Last but not least, small intestine and heart. So the small intestine, now both of these are baby fingers, okay? Small intestine starts on the pinky, and it comes all the way up the arm, the top side, and it goes wide on the shoulder, and it comes through the neck, comes over to the nose, and then ends at the ear, okay? That's small intestine. The affirmation is, I choose to learn something from all of life's experiences. So all the tests, all the trials, all the difficult things that you guys go through, you know, we can get better or bitter. So this is just an opportunity that, you know what, I'm going to learn something from everything, and I'm going to turn it into good so that I become a better person, right? Okay. And then the heart begins at the axilla area and comes down the inside of the arm and ends at the baby finger. And the affirmation is, I know who I am. I am safe. I am loved. I know who I am safe, and I am loved. So we're going to cover our little fingers with our thumbs. Okay. We're going to just put our thumbs on our little fingers, and then we're just going to take the 3 remaining fingers and place those right at the opening of the ear here. Okay, so just lightly holding your fingers on the side of your face. Okay, I choose to learn something from all of life's experiences. I choose to learn something from all of life's experiences. I know who I am. I am loved. I am safe, and I am loved. I know who I am. I belong. I like to add that one in. I am safe, and I am loved. I know who I am. I am safe. I am loved. Okay, so that's it, you guys. Pretty easy. All right.